Hi, welcome. We are just a few moments from getting started. So if you want to go ahead and settle in, might encourage you to find a pad and a pen. I believe you're going to want to take some notes. There's some great information that we have scheduled. Our guest speaker has a lot of value to bring. And it looks like, most of the reserved seats are full. So fantastic. So let me go ahead and switch our slides and let's get started. Okay, let's get started. Today, I'm going to be talking about something you've probably heard a lot about, how the food you eat, the nutrition you give your body, it can either help or hurt. It can either serve to revitalize your health or it can help to accelerate the aging process. But we're going to be looking at this in a whole new way. First, I want you to look at the picture on the screen. We're going to use it to help illustrate what's actually happening in your body right now. We don't always put the pieces together, but the scientific principles behind this simple example, it's really the difference in the pace of aging that we experience. And the difference maker is nutrition, or more specifically, it's the nutrition that we provide to our body. So in our little experiment, we split an apple and we treated half, in this photo, the right side, with a popular over-the-counter vitamin mixed with water. And we've done nothing to the left. Now, on the next picture, you see the other half of that same apple. Here, we treated the right side again with fresh lemon juice. And again, we didn't do anything to the left side. These apples, or these halves of this apple, they're going to go through a change, and that change is going to occur pretty quickly. Can you guess what the change is? So if you have pen and paper near you, maybe write down your answer, because we're going to come back to this in a few minutes and we'll check out what you think is going to take place. My name is Eddie Stone. I am the founder and CEO of Touchstone Essentials. We're a company committed to empowering people to live life to the fullest through better nutrition. We all want to live happy, healthy lives, but the truth is we're facing big problems and maybe even longer odds. And the problems start with the food we eat, and maybe more specifically, the food we have that's available to us. But today, we're going to show you solutions, real solutions rooted in better nutrition that can help you shed unwanted pounds, get a deep, restful night's sleep, maintain a positive outlook, get rid of digestive discomfort, have vibrant, sustained energy, and finally, look and feel years younger. And just as importantly, how you can do it without having to blow up your food budget, without having to become an expert, right? We all want simple. I want simple. Life is already complicated. So the answers to turning back the clock, they're found in the right nutrition. But the chances are you've been going about it the wrong way. But here's what's exciting. We can fix that. The right type of nutrition can actually improve health outcomes and help you rebuild your body literally from the inside out. There are three big problems that we're going to be covering today. And to help us do that, we have a very special guest, Dr. Michael Isserman, a Harvard graduate, a medical doctor. We're going to meet Dr. Isserman in just a moment. The first big problem, we're overfed and we're undernourished. We're eating more calories than ever before, but from a nutritional standpoint, we're starving our bodies and the consequences are terrible. And when we do try to eat right, the foods we have access to, they often lack the basic nutrition that we're counting on. They literally are depleted. And we'll talk more about that in just a few moments. The second big problem, we have a multivitamin mentality. We think a one-a-day pill will fill the nutrition gap. Today, we're going to bust some myths about vitamins, and we're going to show you the dark side of supplements and how some are actually toxic for your health. And when we show you this, we're also going to focus on how to get real nutrition that nourishes the body, helps to revitalize, improve how we feel, how we look, just how we function, basically. And then the big third problem, the road to ill health, is paved with good intentions. We all know we should eat more fruits and vegetables, but it's time consuming and it's expensive. You hear people joke about the fact that Whole Foods is called whole paycheck. Well, there's a reason. It's expensive. So we're going to show you solutions that will set you on the path to good health, but without breaking the bank. So let's get into this. Let's meet Dr. Michael Isserman. He's joining us today to help us look at closely these problems and the real solutions. I've had the honor of knowing Dr. Isserman for over 20 years. And over that time, I've learned that he's not only a physician of great renown, he's also a wonderful family man to his wife and 2 children. And we share a passion for how nutrition can change health. He's a graduate of Harvard, where he got his BA in economics. And after Harvard, he went to medical school at Washington University School of Medicine. Following his medical degree, Dr. Isserman did his ophthalmology residency at Barnes Hospital, and then he went on to run his own very successful medical practice for years. He's currently an assistant professor of ophthalmology at Washington University at St. Louis. He maintains active staff privileges at St. Luke's Hospital and also BJC Hospital, which is one of the largest nonprofit healthcare organizations in the country. Dr. Isserman has also co-authored 2 recognized published studies, and he's the past president of the St. Louis Ophthalmology Society. He has truly found ways to serve the health needs of his community now for many, many years. Dr. Isserman, thank you for being with us today.
And thank you, Eddie. I'm really happy to be here today.
So let's get into these problems and start sharing solutions so that our listeners, they can start down that path of better health and vitality. You know, problem number 1, we're both overfed and undernourished. And it doesn't seem like we can be both at the same time, right? So tell us about that.
It doesn't seem that way, but you can. Today we're consuming more calories than ever before, and yet we're getting less nutrition. So while we live in a land of plenty, we're really starving nutritionally. The USDA tracks this, and it shows that between 1970 and the year 2000, average calorie consumption increased almost 25%. Unfortunately, most of that increase came from highly processed grains, refined oils, and added sugar, the stuff we keep hearing about. The result is weight gain. It also gives us lack of energy, poor sleep quality, higher risk for diabetes, and heart disease and cancer. And because of what we're eating, we're not getting enough nutrition. There's a National Cancer Institute report that shows that 75% of people don't meet the daily minimum fruit intake requirements, and 87% don't eat the daily minimum vegetable intake requirements. And I should qualify here that those minimums are set pretty low. The vast majority of people, almost 9 out of 10, are not eating the right type of foods.
You know, folks, does that sound familiar? You know, you look at your plate, you look around at the dinner table, and really a lot of what you see are processed foods, refined grains. There's not a lot of color. You know, we're essentially missing those veggies. We're missing those fruits. So, Dr. Isserman, what does this mean for us both in the short and the long term?
Well, Eddie, this is not like a vitamin deficiency where you get a real disease like scurvy or rickets. No, we're just getting enough nutrition to stay out of the medical history books. But we're not getting enough nutrition to look and feel young, prevent the chronic diseases that are plaguing us today. In the short term, high calories, low nutritional intake, it leads to weight gain, it leads to bloating and poor sleep quality, digestive issues, and just feeling old. Anybody think that sounds familiar? But it also sets us up for long-term chronic health problems. We see this now in the numbers for heart disease, especially for diabetes and also cancer. In essence, it's an epidemic of nutritional deficiency.
So it starts with what we eat, or essentially what we don't eat, and it affects nearly everyone. And I find this uncomfortably ironic since we live in the land of plenty. One of my favorite authors on this topic is a gentleman by the name of Michael Pollan, and he's got several best-selling books. One of them is called Food Rules, and one of those rules is that if it came from a plant, eat it, and if it's made in a plant, don't, right? So pretty simple. Dr. Isserman, what are some of those simple suggestions that you have for us?
Well, Eddie, I really like Michael Pollan. I think one of his other rules was if you don't understand what the ingredients are, don't eat it. And the science on this is pretty clear-cut. Here are 4 steps you can take that make perfect sense. Eat more fruits and vegetables. Eat less processed refined foods. Stop eating foods that are white, like white bread and white rice. And eliminate the added sugar as much as possible. Now there's a lot more you can do. The internet is awash in cleanse and elimination diets, but simply doing 1 or more of these things will start you on a path of health.
I think that that's great. It's a good, clear list. And what I want to say to everybody listening is that doing something is better than doing nothing. My experience has been that when people look at strict elimination diets, it just looks so different. It doesn't feel familiar at all. It's unlike, what we're currently eating. And so what I find is a lot of friends, a lot of family, they throw up their hands, and they, I can't do it, right? That's essentially what people think to themselves. Here's what I want to encourage. Just take small steps, right? Even 1 small step can make a big difference. Just change out the bread on the dinner table for a veggie. And if you feel like you need, for 2 veggies, right? And you'll notice immediately, I believe within 24 hours, your energy level will be higher and you'll sleep better. So, let's now look at this, because I don't think any of us ultimately are going to argue that we need more fruits and veggies, right? But here's the challenge, or I should say one of the challenges, right? The nutritional content of food has changed over time, over the years. And so even if we eat well, we aren't necessarily always getting the nutrition that we need.
It's a fact, Eddie, that the fruits and vegetables that we eat today are not as nutritious as the ones our parents or grandparents ate. I mean, it's simple to me. Every time I eat a tomato that comes from the store, it just doesn't taste the same as I remember them in the old days. That's why I recommend supplements. It's a way to bridge the gap to get more nutrition you need. And we'll get back to what to look for in a minute, but yes, our food is changing. Look at farming techniques. Look at the rise of monocrop culture and the long transit times it takes to get the food to us. This has led to a sharp decline in the nutritional content of the health foods. The USDA has gathered this data for over 50 years, and it shows many vegetables have declining levels of vitamins and minerals. That being said, Eddie, the fruits and vegetables are still the best source of nutrition. We just have to be mindful that while our grandparents could get all the nutrition from their diet, it's much harder for us today.
I saw a quote from Tim Lang at the Center for Food Policy. He put it this way: you would have to eat 8 oranges today to get the same amount of vitamin C your grandparents got from even a single orange. So it's interesting. You eat more, more fruits and veggies to get the nutrition that you need, but you're not getting the nutrition that you expected, right? And so, it's a challenge, and it's a big challenge. But here's what I want to make sure I clearly communicate. There are solutions, and a little later we're going to show you in 1 simple step, that's just 1 simple step, how you can get the nutrition that you need, and you can start feeling better and looking better and quicker than you probably think. So let's go ahead now and focus on problem number 2. And I think everyone kind of knows this, right? They're not eating right. We don't necessarily have to be told that. And so we've adopted this multivitamin mentality. And it's led to some interesting changes. Over the last 30 years, we've seen a rapid rise in the use of vitamin supplements. An estimated 150 million people in the U.S., millions more people worldwide are using supplements, and they're using them on a daily basis. Here's the thinking. Just take a multivitamin to fill in the gap in your diet, and all will be well. But that's not really solving our problem, is it?
It sounds simple, but it's not solving our problem. In fact, it might be adding to our problems. I was involved as much as anyone else in the 1990s advising my patients and my friends and my family to take their multivitamins and their supplements. In fact, in April, I think it was 1992, there was a Time magazine cover called "The Real Power of Vitamins" and how they would fight cancer and heart disease. We all believed, since we weren't eating as healthily as we should, all we had to do was take a pill. Simply take a supplement with 100% of our needed vitamin A and B, our C vitamins, and we'd banish disease, live to 100. Unfortunately, time has shown us that this is not the case. Over the years, there's been study after study that has come out that shows that multivitamins did not stop heart disease. They did not stop cognitive decline or cancer. In some cases, they've actually shown that there's an increased risk of cancer for taking vitamin supplements. But at the same time that these studies are coming out against vitamins, there were studies coming out with good news. The good news studies showed that there was something you could do to stave off aging, protect the heart, and reduce your risk for cancer. So there is a way to solve our nutrition gap and give our bodies what they need.
Here's what I found. Being the proactive population that we are, we all want to find out what does work, right? And we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. But first, it's important that there be a paradigm shift. And what I mean is that for years we were told to take the multivitamins as we've discussed, but now we learn they're not helping. But here's the back end of that. They may be causing harm. So why is that? Dr. Isserman, I'm gonna ask you to break this down for us this way and bust a few myths about this multivitamin mentality, so that we can learn, why they're not working. So let me put it this way. The first myth that I see is vitamin supplements, they bridge the gap in my diet.
No, Eddie, I wish they did, but they do not bridge the gaps in your diet. When you look at a multivitamin label, you're seeing chemical vitamin isolates. For example, you see vitamin C listed as ascorbic acid, a single isolate. That's really not how vitamin C is found in food. Vitamin C in berries or citrus is bundled with dozens of other nutrients. These are called phytonutrients. They are cofactors that are needed to unlock the full vitamin C molecule. And other vitamins and minerals are also found in those berries, which will help serve to boost the antioxidant power of vitamin C. So it is less about how much of a certain vitamin you get and much more about getting your nutrition from food sources. And that's the big reason why we don't see any good studies that show good results from taking these isolated vitamins. But we do see amazing studies when the participants have consumed food-sourced nutrition. So no, vitamin isolate supplements do not bridge the gap.
Okay, that's pretty clear. So let's look at myth number 2, right? And I think a lot of people do this. We don't know if something's helping, but we think to ourselves, well, it can't hurt.
Yes, Eddie, it really can hurt. And this has been the biggest surprise in the medical community when the study results came in. There's the landmark Finnish study, for example. This was a double-blind, placebo-controlled study published in the New England Journal of Medicine. And it was supposed to prove that cancer protective benefits were present with beta-carotene and vitamin E supplements. Instead, they actually discovered a higher incidence of lung cancer, 18%, and a higher total mortality, 8%, in the groups receiving the vitamins. And there are dozens of studies on vitamins showing no benefit. When you look into it, you see that the Finnish study used synthetic vitamin E and it used synthetic beta-carotene. These synthetics are formulated with petrochemicals and toxic solvents. In fact, practically every negative study on vitamins was done using synthetics and isolates. So the lesson here is to avoid any of these synthetic or isolate vitamin supplements.
I recognize that this is confusing because the message we hear in the public is, or I should say we read too, right, is that vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, they're helping us to reduce the risk of disease. Is that a good summary?
Yes, that's right. But here's the thing, Eddie. Every positive study that shows health benefits is done using whole foods. The benefits come from natural whole foods, because then you're getting the natural vitamins, the minerals, the antioxidants, and the phytonutrients that all work together to provide protection. It really doesn't work when they're fabricated from petrochemicals, which is what we see in chemical isolates. And there are hundreds of studies published in prestigious medical journals, and they show food-based nutrition supports heart health, it lowers the risk of cognitive decline, and it reduces the risk for cancer.
You know, I think the solution to problem number 2 seems pretty clear. That the answer to that multivitamin mentality is don't take the multivitamin. And to bridge the gap in your diet, you've got to start looking for whole food nutrition, a whole food nutrition-based supplements.
Yep, you really do need to bridge the nutrition gap. But you're only going to do it with supplements that come from whole food sources. It's very possible that 20 years from now, you know, our medical community might look back and say, what were we thinking when we recommended synthetic supplements? I know I feel that way now.
Well, having been a part of this for 25 years, when I first saw how most supplements are made, you know, I was shocked, you know, kind of shook my head and really dismayed by it. And I'll tell you, I made a commitment, and I made a commitment to my family, you know, my friends that I have advocated a good health message to, my community. I made a commitment that I would work only with supplements that, you know, they capture all of that goodness that you find in whole foods, that whole food nutrition. So it's got to be made from fruits and veggies, herbs that are picked, you know, at the peak of ripeness, because that's what the studies show, and that's what the study shows where the health benefits are. And the health benefits, they're really based upon this antioxidant quality of these really rich, richly colored whole fruits and vegetables. And so, you know, we've talked about how this gives us all these phytonutrients and the importance of the cofactors and how our body absorbs and uses the nutrition. Can you tell us a little bit about why antioxidants, you know, specifically antioxidants from fruits and vegetables, why they work the way they do?
I find that that's a really interesting question. The most promising theory on why fruits and vegetables do protect against the heart disease, reduce the risk of cancer, and prolong our lives comes down to this, and I'm going to try not to make it too scientifically confusing. It's called telomeres. Telomeres are the DNA found at the end of chromosomes in your cells. Think of them as the tips at the end of your shoelaces that keep them from fraying. Every time your cell replicates, you use up a little bit of your telomere, so it gets shorter. When your cells run out of telomeres, they die. They can't reproduce or replicate anymore. Research has shown us that the longer the telomeres, the longer you live. If you have short telomeres, you're at a much higher risk for disease. So if you can keep your telomeres long or reduce the rate at which they shorten, then you can fight back against the effects of aging on an actual cellular level.
There was a documentary on HBO a while back. It was called Life According to Sam. This young man, he was 17 at the time. He had premature aging disease, which is progeria. I believe I'm pronouncing that properly. People with this disease, they age incredibly fast. They rarely make it to 18 years of age, and they develop all these signs of what I think of as extreme aging, you know, extreme arthritis, total hair loss, heart disease, and all the things that go with that. And one of the things that I didn't realize at the time I was watching the show was that the research was looking at things very closely at a cellular level, and specifically their telomeres. And you know what they found was that they have exceptionally short telomeres. Now I know Sam's case that's a rare disease, but what about for the rest of us? You know, what can we do to keep our telomeres long and, you know, help to preserve our health?
Eddie, the new research in this field is really promising, but there is something we can do right now. And one of the ways you can reduce your telomere shortening is to increase your intake of antioxidant-rich foods. Antioxidants in fruits and vegetables protect your cells from the damage that's caused from free radical oxidation. That's what you called rust earlier. We rust on the inside, and they appear to reduce the rate of telomere shortening. So the more fruits and vegetables, the better it is for you.
You know, I think at this point, Probably most people listening, they're thinking, well, my mom was right. She was always telling me to eat my fruits and vegetables. And I know around most kitchen tables there's some epic battles between kids and their moms and dads about eating their vegetables. But they're right. So let's now focus on really what is the third amongst these problems, and really that's this: the road to ill health is paved with good intentions. All of us sort of know, right, even without being told, particularly as adults, we need more fruits and vegetables, but most of us don't or aren't able to do something about it, whatever it is. I mean, part of it is that eating right is time consuming, it's expensive. A single piece of fruit like an apple at Whole Foods can set you back $1.50, maybe $2, depends on where you live. A broccoli bunch, that can be as much as $3.50, and that doesn't really take into account time. And I'm talking about prep work, set aside even going to the store and getting what you need, cooking and serving, then you've got to clean up and all the other things associated with mealtime. And so, it takes a lot out of what for most people is already a busy day. And so people get into a trap, right? It's much easier to just drive through some lane at a restaurant, a fast food restaurant, or whatever it happens to be, and get that meal handed to you through the window. But let me just bring this question in now. What if you could accomplish and get the nutritional benefits for 33 servings worth of fruits and vegetables, all for less than the price of a cup of coffee per day? We're talking about real fruits, real vegetables, full of all of their native natural antioxidants and phytonutrients, distilled down to the purest essence. I call it the plant goodness. Only 3 small capsules a day. I'll just ask you, how important would that be to your health?
Eddie, I think I can answer that. It's a great question. I think I can answer that by telling you about a study at the University College of London. They did a study on over 65,000 people, and they found that the more fruits and vegetables that were eaten, the longer people lived. Pretty simple. The lead author of the study, and I'm going to quote him, says, "The size of the effect is staggering. The clear message here is that the more fruits and vegetables you eat, the less likely you are to die at any age." So please, get your nutrition from fruits and vegetables. It's that simple. The antioxidant power of fruits and vegetables really is the key to turning back the aging clock from the inside out.
Dr. Isserman, I want to really thank you for your time. I do think the message is clear, that eating more fruits and vegetables is really one of the most important keys to good health and longevity. So thank you so much for your time tonight. So now I want to show you a solution that will put you on a path to good health without breaking the bank or frankly, without wrecking your schedule. And one that gives you the nutrition that's found in raw fruits and vegetables that can help to support the healthy telomeres that we've been talking about, bolster your immune system, promote healthy vision, help to fight against the free radicals that are accelerating the aging process, help you get rid of digestive distress, support a healthy heart. In all, just help you look and feel younger, all from the inside out. But before we do that, I want to go back to our little experiment that we had in the beginning. Remember, we split an apple in half. What did you think would happen? Basically, the first half, on the right side, we put a nationally popular multivitamin that we had put in a water solution. So we treated that one side with that. And on the other half, we left it plain. And then on the next half of the apple, on the right side, we used fresh lemon juice. Lemon juice is filled with all of the nutrients, the polyphenols, and the delicate antioxidants that we associate with fresh fruits and vegetables. And again, we left the left side completely plain. So what did you think would happen? When apples are cut and exposed to air, they start to oxidize. Basically, it's a reaction where oxygen is helping to break down the apple, and it happens really quite quickly. And you can see it starts to turn brown. this is a process we commonly think of as rust, but we don't always think about the fact that it's happening inside our bodies every day. I mean, it's actually happening every second of every minute of every day. It's a constant process. And, we need oxygen to survive, but oxygen is highly reactive. Now, some of this is normal and necessary, but too much oxidation in our cells, they start to accelerate in terms of the aging process. They become damaged. And this is where the telomeres, they get shorter, and we see the whole cascade of problems that develop. Now, in a minute, I'll talk a little bit more about what it means to have high oxidation levels and how that happens. But let's go back to the apple. So the side exposed to the air, obviously it turned brown, and that's exactly what we expected. But now look at the other side where we added the multivitamin solution. It also turned brown. And the challenge is that even though the label says it has all your vitamins, it's not stopping oxidation. Let's go back to our conversation about multivitamins being made with synthetics or chemical isolates. The studies that Dr. Isserman talked about show that they simply don't work. And you can see it here in just this simple example. It didn't really do anything to help protect the apple. Now look at the one where we added the fresh cut lemon juice, right? A natural whole food antioxidant complex, broad spectrum. And look at what it did, or I should say, look at what it prevented from happening, right? Natural antioxidants stop the oxidation process. They stop the rusting, if you will. This is why whole food antioxidants are proven in hundreds of stories. That's where all these health benefits come from. So it isn't about the amount of what's listed on the label. The multivitamin that we used had 60 milligrams of vitamin C according to the label. Well, a lemon has only about half that amount, but look at how it works compared to the multi. It works because the strength of it is found in the broad spectrum nature of the natural antioxidants that are native in that lemon and other fresh fruits and vegetables. Now, we can measure this. We can measure antioxidants by looking at their ORAC rating. The higher the rating, the more effective they are at stopping the oxidation process. And even though a lemon only has about 30 milligrams of vitamin C on average, it has an ORAC rating of over 1,000. That's high, and in your diet can help to make a real difference. So what if you could get the help of over 33 servings worth of fruits and vegetables without having to eat 33 lemons? With Essentials, you can. We created Essentials from whole fruits and veggies and herbs to give you the power, the age-fighting power of these broad spectrum antioxidants. Inside are berries, grapes, grapeseed, green tea, pomegranate, broccoli, and of course the citruses. So yes, there is literally lemon inside, and it all helps to bridge that very important nutritional gap. 9 out of 10 people, they aren't getting enough fruits and vegetables, so they need the help. A serving of Essentials is a big, healthy variety of fruits and vegetables, and it comes with an ORAC rating of over 30,000. And let me say that again because you heard me correctly. Over 30,000, about 30 times our lemon. In just 3 small capsules, you get this giant antioxidant boost that will have you looking and feeling better from the inside out in no time. We all know, I believe, that it's important to eat fruits and vegetables, but beyond the challenge of buying and preparing what we need, there's other issues. You'd be consuming a lot of extra calories. Fruits and vegetables, they are healthy, but they're calorie rich. And this problem is solved with Essentials. You get all that goodness without the calories. You'd be consuming a lot of extra sugar, especially if you're a person that juices. This creates a big spike in your blood sugar, followed by a major insulin response. And here's what comes next. It leads straight to weight gain, especially around the middle. With Essentials, our raw fruits and veggies, they're gently dried, so it's only the nutrition that remains, and there's less than half a gram of natural sugar per serving, so it never affects blood sugar. It's pure, concentrated, broad spectrum antioxidant power. And lastly, there's the cost. I joked about how Whole Foods is called whole paycheck earlier. An apple can easily set you back $1.50 to $1.75. And a head or a bunch, they call it, a broccoli, as much as $3.50 to $4, right? And that's, if you think about it, to get the 5 to 7 servings of fruits and vegetables that's recommended on a daily basis, I mean, you're easily talking about $10 a day and much more if you're going to buy organic. Essentials gives you the power of 33 servings, and you get all of it for under $2 a day. That's essentially less than a cup of coffee in terms of cost. Now, because you're listening to us today and have decided to be a part of our webinar, I want to make a special offer, and that's so you can get it for even less than the $2 a day. But before I do, I promised I would talk about the risk factors associated with high oxidation levels. Here's what you need to make note of. If you're stressed in your job or your life, if you're exposed to toxins, that you would find as easily as just sitting in traffic on a daily basis, if you're eating processed foods or refined foods on a regular basis, you're likely experiencing high rates of oxidation. And this one might surprise you, because this is actually what our physicians encourage us to do. If you're engaged in high intensity exercise, you need extra antioxidant support. Intense exercise creates a lot of short-term oxidation, and to stop oxidation, and this will help you in terms of recovering faster, you need antioxidants. Here's the bottom line. Nearly everyone is at risk and needs antioxidant support, and from a source that's rich in nutrients that are found in plants and vegetables. That's exactly what you find with essentials. Take a look at the essentials label. There are no synthetics, no isolates. It's pure concentrated food and with a little something extra. Now, you probably know that cooking destroys, denatures nutrients, but it also does the same kind of damage to enzymes that are natively found in food. And these enzymes are essential to unlocking those critical phytonutrients that are so powerful inside the body. So in addition to the natural fruits and vegetables that you find in essentials, there's also natural enzymes, and the enzymes that we find in fruits and vegetables. And so we add those in there to make sure that you can get every bit of the nutrition found in each capsule. So you've got the lipase and the amylase and all the others to give your body what it's needs. All of this for less than $2 a day. I want to thank Dr. Isserman for joining us today. And I want to thank you for being with us to learn how whole food, broad spectrum antioxidants are the key to your own personal nutrition revolution. Thank you.